Oh,
Okay. Hi. I can see you now.
nice.
Hi.
Good to see you after 2 years, I can
Yeah.
say.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Yeah. Also good to see you. So, could you just start by introducing yourself, maybe a bit about where you're from and your overall situation?
Okay, so my name is Maciek. I'm 19 years old. I was born and raised in Poland. I'm the last year of my high school. After graduation, I would like to study economics. And I live 3 hours away from the Lviv.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know,
So pretty close to the border.
yeah, Lviv is a city that actually is part of Poland, very close to the border. So, what was your initial reaction to the invasion of Ukraine personally, and what was also the reaction of the Polish population in general?
Oh, I had mixed feelings about this whole situation. Like we are not used to having a war right next to our border, and it made me feel a little bit anxious. But on the other hand, I know that Poland belongs to NATO, and if Russia attacked us, uh, it would mean that they attack every member of the alliance, and I think it wouldn't be wise for Russia to do this. And I think when we find out polls about the invasion, we we are everyone reacted in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like in some cities, people took to the street, protested.
Mm-hmm.
Others went to gas station and made huge traffic jams. ATMs ran out of money. Our friend Dennis wanted to withdraw some money for bus ticket,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't able to do this and had to borrow some money from a friend. People
Yeah.
also took money
Into
from a banks
yeah.
and
Yeah.
wanted to exchange it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a little bit
Sorry. Yeah.
problem with internet
Yeah.
connection.
Everyone was just
Okay.
and,
Mhm.
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, they took money out of the banks and wanted to exchange it into euros because they were fearing that it would uh, be the same as with the ruble. It's worth nothing, I think.
Yeah. And what do you think?
So, uh, mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Move on. Okay, it's okay.
What has Poland's general reaction been and attitude towards Ukrainians coming in and Ukrainian refugees?
I think when we find out about Russian invasions, everyone everyone wanted to help in some way. Like people provided Ukrainian refugees with temporary shelters. They even gave away their own beds that they could have a place to sleep. Mm, Polish influencers
Mm-hmm.
uh, were calling for people to donate money for fundraisers, and later that money will be spent on help for children, for humanitarian aid. Uh, what else? There are collections for teddy bears, for clothes, because vast majority of refugees are children,
Mm-hmm.
which was they weren't even able to take luggage with them because uh, there was no space for luggage when they wanted to enter train, and they had to left everything
Yeah.
in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of help going on from our community.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's in our roots. After World War II, we were stripped out of help
Mm-hmm.
because, at the right, Russia was invading us. At at the left, Germany, no place to go. It was really hard. It was really hard, and I think now we have in mind that we want to help them. Like no one thinks about the refugee crisis that's going on, that it's going to devastate our economy, everything. We just want to help
Yeah.
because we know how hard it is to live during wartime.
Yeah. I think there's a common culture and common that binds the two countries. And it's part of the reason why Poland's been so welcoming to all the refugees. And
Yes, and
yeah, go ahead.
okay. And I think a lot of Ukrainians will stay in Poland because of similarities in our language. It's we can communicate easy,
Mm-hmm.
not even though we have different language, it's easier to communicate
Yeah.
in natives than in English or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And how have Polish schools been affected so far? And how do you think that they'll continue to be affected as more young Polish people young Ukrainians come into Poland?
So my school was hardly affected by this refugee. Only our gym was converted into a temporary shelters for children because there's no place, they have no place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And we are talking about this with our teachers. They said that they told us that uh, we could talk with our school psychologist if we feel overwhelmed, if
Mm-hmm.
if we just want to talk. And what else? There are some students also sort clothes that
Mm-hmm.
are given for children. Uh,
Yeah, because my next
yeah,
question
and
is about
mhm,
because you talked about how your school has organized like drives to collect clothes and other things for Ukrainian refugees. And yeah, so it's good. It's really great to see that even just ordinary people are taking action. Do you know what your city's done and what the government in your city's done?
our city is kind of hub for children for the orphanage from the
Mm,
Ukraine. So all children that don't have parents, children with disabilities, stay here. We've got approximately 1,000
mhm.
children, and this amount is going to grow. But it's then later on they are going to be sent to the other cities because we're not able to like house so many people. Uh, Students may or make also Ukrainian flags that we can pin it on our bags or on our shirts to
Mhm.
support our that we are with Ukrainians.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, so I think yeah.
And what do you think will be the long-term impact of all of the refugees coming in? Because there's been, I don't know exactly how many it is today, but there's been more than 1.5 million Ukrainian refugees coming.
Yes.
What do you think the long-term impact will be of this, not only on the population, but on economy, and do you think people's attitudes toward refugees will change over time?
I think people uh, are fearing the consequences of this, like queues for public health are getting longer because refugees are provided with all health of, and people definitely don't like this because we can always help you, but when it starts affecting us, it's it becomes a problem. And for example, also there have emerged groups in nurseries for children's, and there are long queues for Polish people to, both parents are working a lot and they want to leave their children, they want to leave their child in the nursery so they have place to stay. And now Ukrainian children have place to stay, but Polish children are stripped out of this option. Parents have to pay additional money for someone who will take care of their child. Yes, and also Ukrainians are like are provided with social benefits. In Poland, every child has been given 500 zlotys, and there are practically only children, so there's additional a lot of money going to. Well,
Yeah,
and
I agree. I mean,
mhm.
although the population's been very welcoming, there are a lot of economic and social problems causing, and I think, yeah, it's going to be really difficult for the government to
Yes,
just
it's a bottomless pit, you know.
Yeah, but I think everyone's sympathies are with the refugees and also the people who are still in Ukraine. Yeah.
hmm Yes, like the invasion is the Russia is escalating their invasion because 2 days ago they launched missiles on military facility, which is 30 kilometers away from our border. So it's it's becoming more and more dangerous.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's really,
well, definitely our country needs help from the UN because solely we won't be able to help so many people. Like we are also not so developed country. We we are not able to provide the Ukrainians with jobs, with appropriate place to stay.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we'll just have to see how things roll out in the future. Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Maciek, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. So, bye.